أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Islam, a religion steeped in tradition, and at the surface one might think that it is sprinkled with a little bit of controversy. Its followers, Muslims, seek a life of submission, gratitude, and servanthood. A religion that had a slow start but quickly took the world by fire. Nations were built on Islam, and some nations were torn down in the name of Islam. But how is it that a religion that promotes peace is also the same religion that some terrorists and extremists use to promote their horrendous actions? I am here, where I live, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, exploring what it means to be Muslim, and more specifically, a Muslim in the United States. To help me understand this highly misunderstood religion is Adam Sultani. Adam is the executive director of CARE Oklahoma, an organization that fights and educates for the rights of Muslims in Oklahoma. However, at an early age, Adam had the benefit of being exposed to two different religions that normally do not see eye to eye.
Well, I was born in 1983 in Kansas City, Kansas. I was born to a Muslim father from Iran and a white American Catholic mother from Olathe, Kansas. And I was raised in a multicultural, multi-faith home. And my parents did something that I realized is incredibly difficult, which is they chose not to force me or my two younger siblings to choose a certain path, especially when it came to religion, but rather they sought to expose us to both their faith traditions and encourage us to explore and understand faith and how it applies to the world around us.
This was also around the same time that America was in new territory with the Iranian government. In 1981, under Ronald Reagan's direction, the United States was able to free the hostages that were held in the American embassy in Iran for 444 days. However, after the successful release of these Americans, it led to tensions between Iran and the U.S. government. But not only did it leave a bad taste in the politicians' mouths, but also the American people.
I remember people, when they found out where my father was from, even at a young age, kind of looking with a sense of skepticism or concern, So I think the biggest challenge was the identity crisis that took me a long time to really get over. I felt like I resolved a large part of my identity when I found Islam as a faith and I chose that as a way of my life. So at the age of 17, kind of by chance, I walked into the Islamic Society of Edmond. I met a man by the name of Sohaib Webb, who's now a very famous American Muslim scholar, originally from Oklahoma, and he invited me to come to a weekend class for Muslim teens, and that's kind of how things got started and intrigued my interest about Islam. I made some friends, and I realized this was something I wanted to explore.
However, as Adam was trying to find his identity in Islam, many Muslims were trying to find acceptance within the borders of the United States. Unfortunately, this was around the same time that the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda carried out one of the most horrific terrorist attacks to ever happen on American soil.
It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
America held its breath as they watched the Twin Towers come crashing down. At first, everyone was hoping that it was an accident, but after the smoke cleared, Al-Qaeda was proud to take responsibility of killing more than 6,000 people in the name of Islam.
And that presented me with a whole new set of challenges to understanding my faith and understanding, the reality that there are criminals and extremists within all faith traditions, and coming to terms with that as a Muslim in America.
But after 9/11, the American people were left asking, is extremism a religion problem or a human problem?
It would be wonderful if people would look at the reality of extremism as just that. It's a human problem. It's not a religious problem. I mean, in the United States, historically, we have groups like the KKK, which no Christian in his or her right mind would say, yeah, that's a Christian group. That represents Christianity. Well, in the same vein, extremist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda do not represent the Islamic faith teachings. Yet, we always have to deal with the reality that people look at us and think that our faith is somehow defined by a small minority of extremists in the world.
However, this still begs the question, does the Muslim community accept those who practice violence as one of their own?
I would say no, that it's really impossible for any believing Muslim to do so for several reasons. One, anybody who participates in extremism goes against the very teachings of Islamic theology. I mean, our holy book, our holy scripture, the Holy Quran is very clear, chapter 5, verse 32, that if you take the life of one innocent human being, it's as if you took the life of all humanity. The weight of that sin is very serious in our faith teachings.
So one would think that with time, things have gotten better for the Muslim community. However, things have become worse. In fact, Muslim hate groups increased from 5 in 2010 to 101 in 2017. The challenges that Muslims face every day range from...
We've seen everything from mosque being attacked, bacon left at the Islamic Society of Ed, vandalized with paintballs, vandalized with graffiti, curse words, and pictures of male genitalia. The Islamic Center in Lawton, someone left a dead pig carcass a couple of years ago in their parking lot. We've seen a gas station clerk, a convenience store clerk in Savannah, Oklahoma that was stabbed 17 times after being called a terrorist and told to go back home. We've seen a limo driver in Oklahoma City who was physically and verbally assaulted by a customer, told to go back to his effing country and that he's a terrorist. A teacher of a special ed class here in Oklahoma City decided to give one of her special needs Muslim students the nickname the terrorist. And there are many, many more stories. And unfortunately, this is a reality of being Muslim in Oklahoma.
So how do we fix the reality of hatred and fear? The answer is a better understanding of the people who follow Islam. Hatred and extremism are not just an Islamic dilemma, but a human dilemma. Hatred can be found in any religion. But with understanding, we can find common ground and counteract this human problem.